So let's take a look at this here in the book of Vayikra, chapter 23. Let me get a microphone. Okay, are you there? Marcel? Okay. We're going to look at Vayikra, Leviticus chapter 23, and we're going to look at us first as a nation, a national fast. So the nation fast, and then we're going to look at an individual fast. So there's a time that we fast as a nation, that is on Yom Kippur. Then there's time that we fast as a single person. Okay, so we're going to look at that first. Vayikra chapter 23. We'll start at verse 27, Marcel, verse 27. Should speak. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it verse 27? 26. Go ahead. I knew you were going to say that. Go ahead.
Leviticus Vayikra 23, verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
And Jehovah spoke to Moshe, saying, also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there should be a day of atonement.
Mm-hmm.
It should be a holy convocation unto you. And you shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto Jehovah.
Mm-hmm.
And you shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Jehovah your God. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever soul that it do any work in that same day, that same soul will I destroy from among his people. Ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings.
Sound like some serious stuff, huh? So this is Yom Kippur, and it's done on the 10th, okay? And so we see that this is a national day of fast. And if you understand what Yom Kippur is, believe me, you have no problem fasting, because this was the time that the high priest went into the holy place, okay? One time a year. That's in Leviticus chapter 16, the whole chapter. And he went in with the blood of bulls and goats. So he's making intercession for the nation, that will the Most High cover our sins or judge us for our sins. So you can bet there was an awe that day. You can bet that people didn't mind not giving up food that day. So when it says to afflict yourself, it's to deny yourself. So when we begin to talk about fasting, it's giving up certain things. We're going to deal with in a minute 4 types of fast, so I can give you a hint what fasting is about. Now, Brother Mike fasts at least 3 times a week. Now he ain't bragging, I just know that he slimmed down. Maybe I should have said it in my head. So, but he can explain later on some benefits of fast. So I just threw it out there so that you can be punted on some benefits of fasting. All right. And so now when we look at this National Day of Fast, that we can see that the nation got together and fast. Marcel, suppose a brother in the nation or sister or didn't want to participate in the fast. What the Most High says about that again? Moshe, can you find the verse?
Verse 30.
Uh-huh.
And whatsoever soul verse 29. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people.
You see that? That's serious, huh? So, other words, he said, listen, I know you got coupons, and the coupons are due today. Huh? And you want to go buy that Happy Meal or whatever. He said, no, it ain't happening today. It ain't happening today. So this is a serious issue. It'll be like, why you don't want to fast? Why everybody else had to stand in the gap for you, but you don't want to do it? See, why should I fast for you and you won't fast for yourself? So this is a national thing that we're coming together. And then on Yom Kippur, one of the tradition is that they dress in what? White, okay, which represents the righteousness of the saints. So it's the most holiest. Now watch this here. It's the most holiest day of the year. It's kind of like listen, the Orthodox are just like most of our Christian brothers. They don't go to church, but they're gonna make sure they make Easter. Might don't go to church the whole year, but they're going on Easter and Christmas. So a lot of Orthodox the same way. They're not gonna make it to the synagogue hall at any time of the year, but they're gonna make it on Yom Kippur. It's no different. It's the most holiest day of the year. So picture in your mind Moses and them, that the priest. Now, when you read the book of Leviticus, you will see that the high priest, he's dressed down. He's not in his glorious clothes. And he goes into the holy place, the holy of holies, only one time a year. He just couldn't go there anytime he wanted to. And then he could not go in there without blood. You had to present the blood. Leviticus 17:11 say it is the blood that make atonement for your soul, right? He said, I have given you the blood. That's life. Watch this here. It's life in the blood. And I have given it to you to make atonement for what? For your soul. The soul is the most precious thing. Why gain the whole world and lose your soul? The soul is the most precious. So he has given us the blood. And life, listen, he's not just quoting this stuff. He said life is in the blood. So why you think if life is in the blood, why you think Satan always wants a blood sacrifice? Because life is in the blood. They need blood. Abortion, Moloch, that's a lot of blood. That's a lot of power out there. Demons dwell on that. When you find out a powerful celebrity, all of a sudden, their mama died. Accident. Their brother died by accident. No. You get smart. Okay? Kevin Durant, his friend just got killed. I'm like, nah. Keep an eye on what's about to happen to Kevin Durant. Let's see how he's going to blow up. Because for you to go to another level, somebody has to die that's close to you. I just want you to think about this blood sacrifice. The enemy knows there's life in the blood. These people ain't just disappearing. All these children disappearing. I'm telling you, blood sacrifice. So when we talk about fasting Yom Kippur, we're talking about denying ourselves, afflicting ourselves. Okay, that's national holiday. So when we talk about tomorrow starting a congregation fast, everybody got to be on board. Everybody got to be on board. Then why not? Why you want the benefit? Why you want the benefit? One thing that we're going to do is this here. We had a good time on Thursday night. So I'm teaching, baby, right? So I was like, oh. So I said, I know what we're going to do. So if Ms. Rose was asking for your name, it's because we're going to put it in a bucket, and then we're going to, each person are going to pull a name out of there, and then that's who you're going to pray for the whole week. Every Shabbat. Now, if you pull your own name, you know you put that back. But I'm saying that'll take you off your selfishness. You might have a need, but you're going to pray for that person. And you can go to that person, between you and that person, and you can ask that person, do they have a personal need that they want me to pray for? And as I was telling them the other day, or maybe I was telling my wife, I said, now, remember that in the Roman Catholic Church, they have a thing, a confession to the priest. So we are priests in Yeshua. Whatever that person confessed to you, it stays in that boot. Y'all understand that? It stays in that boot. We're not going to pass that. We don't spread stuff around. So that's discipline. Whatever a person tells you and confided to you in a prayer, then it's between you and that person if they want to share with you. Okay? So that's how we're going to do things. And so that we understand that we are a body, right? Then let's start praying for one another. That's what the scriptures say, pray for one another. So when she passed the sheet around, just put your name in there, then we're going to tie them up and put them in the bucket. We ain't started next week. We started today. So that's the National Day of Fast. Now, let's look at a private fast. Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. Look at verse maybe 18. Is it verse 18? Is it 16 or 18? Say it again. Okay, now this is private fast. Now watch this here. So now we just dealt with the national prayer. I did that. I mean, that's as short as I can do it. Now let's look at the private. Okay, go ahead. Matthew chapter 6, verse 16. Right?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Matthew chapter 6, verse 16. Moreover, when you fast, be not as the hypocrites of a sad countenance, for they disfigure their faces that they may appear unto men to fast. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. But you, when you fast, anoint thy head and wash thy face, that thou appear not unto men to fast, but unto Jehovah or Abba, the Father, which is in secret, that your Father which sees in secret shall reward thee openly.
Notice this here. I want you to notice the context. Does the context say if you fast? Does it say that? It says what? So Yeshua assuming that you're going to fast. He didn't say if you pray. He said when you pray, assuming that you're going to pray. So if Yeshua assumed that we're going to fast, then we should fast. We ought to fast. So notice he said that when you fast, be not like who? The text that. The hypocrites. Don't be a hypocrite. Huh? So let's break this down. Verse by verse. Again, so when you fast, be not as the hypocrite. We all know what the word hypocrite means, right? Anybody don't know? Give me a definition then. Hypocrite.
One who says one thing but does the other.
Okay.
Does the opposite.
Do the opposite. So he said, now, when you fast, let everybody in the church know. Now, remember, this is private. We're not talking about national. We're talking about a private fast. So when you fast, do what? Come on, talk to me.
You acquire it secretly.
Secret. So you ain't got to tell everybody, you want everybody to know that you know. Then he goes on to say that when you fast, because he's busy, do whatever. Anoint yourself with oil. That means, listen, put on your clothes. Don't look like you just got on sack clothes and everybody know that you don't change your clothes or nothing like. No, don't let it be known. Dress up like you've been dressing. Don't put on no ragged clothes and just want somebody to like, man, Sherman's shoulder like he's down. No, you don't want people to pretend, because why? You're gonna lose your reward, right? So anoint yourself and do what else? Wash your face. And what else? So it won't be obvious. So this is private. This is private. So in reality, if you know that your family picnic on this weekend, probably not a good weekend to fast. Because then why showing up at a family picnic and you know everybody gonna ask you why you eat. Why you eat, man? Why you eat? Trying to act all pie and stuff. No. If it just happened to happen, don't show up till later on. Maybe your fast is going to end that evening. Well, don't come to that evening. What? I'll be smart enough and say, no, I got a plate to go. And that'll solve all that. Listen, if you find yourself in that situation, say, no, I'm going to make a plate to go. I'm not really that hungry right now. And that's how you do that. Am I right? Did that make sense? And what else? Yes. See, notice this here. This is your private. This is your private prayer. Your private fasting. It's for you. Nobody else needs to know this here. This is not between the congregation. This is between you. Wash yourself. Do it in private. And what else? And the Father. See, you're doing it to him. Nobody else has to know this here. Nobody else. And if you don't look downcast, look like you're hungry, you know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, people won't recognize it. Yeah. Anything else we need to know? It's good? Everything okay? Oh, yeah. Wait till it's over. But since it's burning on him, what question? What question you got? Why I walked over here, but answer that. I just want to I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that. He's on point. He's on point. He's on point. Amen. So now we deal with that. Let's turn to Isaiah for a moment. Isaiah chapter 58. Isaiah 58. I'm gonna show you something here. Yeah, 58. We're gonna start at verse 1. Watch how the Most High deal with Israel with their old fake fasting. Our fathers, them they trying to be, acting hypocrites. But y'all read through all that stuff. Start at verse 1 just for context sake, because they already in transgression already. So go ahead.
Isaiah 58, verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sin.
See, people don't want you to show. He's saying, show them. Show them. Show them that what they're sin. I don't like the way that guy. Man, he was. Yeah, the Bible says, show them their sin. This is what Israel was doing. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness, and forsook not the ordinance of their Jehovah, their God. They ask of me the ordinance of justice. They take delight in approaching to God. Wherefore have we fasted, say they, that you see not? Wherefore have we afflicted our souls, and thou takes no knowledge?
Do y'all hear what they said? Other words, they're thinking, watch this, they're thinking fasting is to manipulate God. They think I'm going to fast and God supposed to answer my prayer, what I've been praying for. No, he ain't no genie in the bottle. Thank you. Go ahead.
Behold, in the day of your fast you find pleasure and exact all your labors.
Hold up for a second. Can you turn it down? Because it's kind of like going, microphone is just going crazy. Go ahead. We're going to fix it. Just want to make sure we get a clear sound. Okay, that's good. Better.
Verse 4. Behold, ye fast for strife and debate, to smite with the fist of wickedness. You shall not fast as you do in this day, to make your voice to be heard on high. Verse 5. It is such a fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his soul. Is it to bow down his head as a bulrush, and to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? Will you call this a fast, an acceptable day to Jehovah? Is it not this fast that I have chosen?
Watch this here. Listen to this here. Go ahead.
To loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, that ye break every yoke.
Huh? He's telling you what happened. This personal. What fast happened to us, what it does to us. Oh, the first 2 days is like you about to die. You about to die. You feel like you about to die because why? Our bodies are so spoiled that we just give it anything they want. It start craving this hill. We want it. But he said, listen, fast, when it builds us up. It builds us up. It strengthens us. Read that verse again for me, please.
Verse 6. Is not this the fast that I have chosen, to loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, that ye break every yoke?
Notice this here. So listen, I'm gonna show you in a minute that a lot of times we want the pastor to lay hands on them. We want somebody to pray for us. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't doing nothing to set our own stuff free. We want fast. Huh? We want to spend time. None of that stuff. What are we doing? So y'all saying, listen, the whole church praying for you, and you still out there doing your thing. having your fun while everybody weeping for you. Now, say, I ain't setting them free or her free. You ain't doing nothing for yourself. The whole congregation fasting on your diabetes, but you won't stop eating this. It's crazy. For your marriage, and you still won't stop talking to that woman or that man that's messing up your marriage. Something wrong with that picture. Something wrong with that picture. The enemy know how important fasting is. He knows it. Watch how Yeshua started his ministry. Go to Matthew chapter 4. Watch how the master started his ministry. Now, this fast that Yeshua did is one of the extra nerve. Don't listen, you can't do this kind of fast unless you're anointed. So don't even try to go to this. This is a supernatural fast. Chapter 4, verse 1, what it says.
Then was Yeshua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights.
40 days and 40 nights. Don't try this. This is supernatural fast. Okay? Go ahead.
He was afterwards hungry.
Uh-huh.
And when the tempter came to him.
That's fine. That's fine. Now, only two people that we know according to scripture fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Who was the other one? Moses. Supernatural fast. You can't do this here. Huh? Chapter 19. You're right. 3 people. I got that on my paper. Just want to see it. Well, we can see why he was he ain't had time to eat. Now, watch this here. So we see this supernatural fast. Okay, so we see that Messiah fast. Let's go to a verse. I'm gonna show you something here. Mark chapter 9. Mark chapter 9. Watch this here. Mark chapter 9, and we'll pick it up in verse 14. Verse 14. Watch this here. And then we're going to deal with the 4 types in a minute. Just trying to lay a little foundation here. Mark, I said, right? All right. I'm there.
Mark chapter 9, verse 14.
Uh-huh.
But when he came to his disciples, he saw a great multitude about them, and the scribes questioning with them. And straightway all the people, when they behold him, were greatly amazed, and running to him, saluted him. And he asked the scribes, well, what question you with them? And one of the multitude answered and said, Master, I have brought unto you my son, which hath a dumb spirit. And wheresoever he take him, he tears him, and he foams, and he gnashes with his teeth, and he pines away.
Uh-huh.
And I spake to thy disciples, and they should cast him out, and they could not.
They could not. Notice, they could not. They brought him to Yeshua, the disciples, because they figured, listen, I see what your master do, so hey, I know that y'all should be able to do this here. But they could not do it. So we ain't going to read the whole story, but let's see why they couldn't do it. Okay. Let's jump down to verse 28.
Mark 9:28. But when he was coming to the house, his disciples asked him privately, why could not we cast him out?
Listen to this here. Listen to it. Go ahead.
And Yeshua said unto them, this kind came forth from nothing, but by prayer and fasting.
Do y'all hear? He's giving us the key that there's some things in our life, it takes fasting and prayer. Fasting and prayer. That's where our power comes from. Fasting and prayer. The enemy knows it. He knows it. Y'all set it up like that. So Yeshua telling us there are certain things in your life that you've been dealing with for years and years and years. Though this kind don't come out. There are certain things in our life. You hear me? Ain't coming out but about prayer and fasting. This is what Yeshua says. This is what he says. And I believe him. A few more, then we're gonna do these here. Amen. Now I'm gonna go on to the 4 types of fasting. Okay, 4 types. Let's deal with this here. 4 types of fasting. Okay, now, number 1, it is the one I just talked about, a regular fast. Okay, a regular fast is what I gave you in Matthew chapter 4 verses 1 through 2. It had the same thing in Mark chapter 1 verse 12. Yeah, Mark chapter 1 verse 12 and 13 and 15. And then also in Luke chapter 4 verse 1 and 2. This is the fast of the regular fast, like with 40 days. Okay, and they are normal. This is not normal. Okay, this is supernatural fast. In this case, they go without food, but they drink water. So notice that it says that Yeshua was hungry. It never said he was thirsty.
That's right.
Because you ain't fasted in the desert, buddy, without drinking water. Okay? So even Yeshua had enough sin. Now, the scripture tells us in Exodus chapter 34 that when Moses was on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights, Moses said, I didn't even eat or drink water.
Right. Amen.
That's impossible. Because how many days can a human being go without water? Huh? In 7 days, huh? Huh? Well, why don't you try breathing, then come back and tell me now. 7 to 8 days, okay? You ain't going no 2 weeks, okay? So we know that Moses was in the presence of Yah. So in reality, who kept Moses alive? Supernatural. And when he came down the mountain, his face was glowing. He was glowing. That's the key to tell us that you ain't got to put on shiny stuff to make your face look shine. Get in the presence with the Most High, and your face is just shine. He's telling us in his presence. In his presence. So we see that this is now for Moses. For those who want to know, Moses super fast is Exodus chapter 34, verse 28. As a matter of fact, let's read the verse. And Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 9 and verse 18. So Moses letting us know this here. So this is called what I call a supernatural fast. What you got? 34? Is that the right verse? Yes. Go ahead. Give me another reader.
Exodus 34:28.
He up there. Anytime I read a getting like that, he's Selah. He's thinking. I didn't say Sinai, I say Selah. Okay.
Shemot.
Go ahead.
Shemot chapter 34, verse 28, which is Exodus 34:28. And he was there with Jehovah 40 days and 40 nights, and he did neither eat nor drink water. And he wrote upon the tablets the words of the covenant.
Supernatural. And Deuteronomy said the same thing in chapter 9, verse 9, verse 18 said the same thing, just repeating. So that's a supernatural fast. Supernatural fast, how you're building up your inner man. Okay? Now, it can go without water, but it has to be supernatural. Supernatural. So you don't try that stuff in the natural. That's a God called fast. That's not normal, okay? Now we have what's called the half fast. The half fast. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Let's go to Daniel chapter 1. Okay, Daniel chapter 1. And you'll see what I'm talking about when I get there. Now, when people talk about the Daniel fast, most people just going about what other people say, but they don't understand the Daniel fast. We know that Daniel was in Babylon, right? And so Daniel didn't want to eat the food that was presented by the king because it was unclean. So Daniel said, no, just give us what? So verse 12 says what, Marcel?
Daniel chapter 1, verse 12. Prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us purse to eat and water to drink.
So that's vegetables, okay? So now you can go on a vegetable diet, okay? Fast. That's all you eating, vegetables, no meat. See, that's all, that's types of diet. So the first one just without food, but you're drinking water. We ain't talking about the supernatural one. So you're going without food, but you're still drinking water. You have to drink water. Okay, you have to drink water. Then this one here, the half one, is Daniel is being tested. Okay, so watch this here. So when people are speaking about the Daniel fast, they are confusing it with chapter 10. Daniel didn't go 21 days eating vegetables and drinking water, so they're getting it mixed up. So people say, "Oh, I'm on the Daniel fast." Well, you're getting your scripture mixed up. Now, you can go 21 days and eat vegetables, but that's not what the Daniel fast is about. And when people are doing the Daniel fast, they don't understand why Daniel was fasting. Okay? Now, when I show it to you, you'll say, hold on, Daniel wasn't fasting for 21 days. It just took Gabriel to get to him 21 days. Watch, I'm going to show you. So, we see here the half fast. Let's look at another one in Daniel chapter 10, which all you're doing is drinking, eating vegetables and drinking water. Just read verse 2 for me, please.
Daniel chapter 10, verse 2. In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning 3 full weeks.
Mm-hmm. Now watch this here. Then we're going to go back. Read verses 13.
Daniel 10, 13. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days below. Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia.
Okay, so now we see the 21 days. Now, why 21 days? Because when you turn to chapter 8, Daniel chapter 8, let's just glean through it. Daniel chapter 8, Daniel have a vision of a goat, okay? Which we find out a goat and a ram. So he's seeing this here, and then it tells us that in verse 16 that he heard a voice, man, between, and then he said he called Gabriel to explain what Daniel was seeing. Okay, he's seeing this here, but Daniel said, I didn't understand. So now you have to understand there's some things that you can see in a vision and not understanding. You need someone to come interpret that. Okay. So Daniel has this here, and then it comes down. It said verse 19, and he said, behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation, for at the time appointed to the end. He said that the ram which thou saw having 2 horns are the kings and Medes of Persia, and then the goat is Greece. So now he's seeing this vision, right? He's seeing this vision. And so Daniel seeing this thing, and he said that as it was explained to him about the transgression of his people in verse 23, and then it jumped down to verse 27, it said, and I, Daniel, faint and was sick for days. I rose up and did the king's business. I was astonished at what? The vision, right? You see that? At the vision. And then verse chapter 9 tells us that Daniel went and he, as he began to study, he opened up the books and he saw how the 70 years of Jeremiah was going to be accomplished. Verse 3 says of chapter 9, and I set my face unto Adonai Elohim to seek by prayer and supplication and what else? Fasting and sackcloth. In other words, he saw what was going on, and Daniel went out an ancient way of fasting, mourning, and he dressed up in the clothing thing, throw dust on your face. Why? Because he saw what was going to happen to the people. See, this 21 day thing started in chapter 8, chapter 9, and chapter 10. So as Daniel is praying or fasting, and this is the longest prayer in the Bible. So Daniel is praying, right? He's praying. And so he talked about that. And then in chapter 9, verses 20 through 27, Daniel says, and while I was speaking and praying and confessing my sins and the sins of my people Israel, and presented my supplication before Jehovah my Elohim for the holy mountain and my Elohim, the man Gabriel showed up again. So here's Gabriel. Why Gabriel? Because Gabriel is the one who delivered messages, okay? He's the messenger angel, okay? Michael show up, there's a battle going on, okay? So now this is still dealing with chapter 8, chapter 9. And then so he, verse 20 through 27, he talked about the Messiah to be cut off, but not for himself, but for the sins of his people, okay? Then, so Daniel talks about that now he says in the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, chapter 10. Then this when Daniel said that I, Daniel, moaned for 3 weeks. Okay? 3 weeks, so he's praying, but it's amazing what verse chapter 10, verse 12 says. Watch this here. Then said he unto me, who is he? Gabriel. Fear not, Daniel, from watch this here, from the first day that thou didst set thy heart to understand or to chasten thyself before Elohim, thy words were heard, and I am came for thy words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me. See, 21 days. The reason Daniel wasn't fasting for 21 days, Daniel was praying. His prayer didn't come answered until 21 days later. There's a battle going on. Did y'all catch that? Would you see the whole thing taking place? The angel said, listen, I heard you the first day. But the prince of Persia, the demon of Persia, withstood me. And the prince of Persia was so bad that I had to call Michael to come help. See, some of our prayers are being heard, been battled. And you say, well, I stopped fighting. See, it teaches right here that prayers are battle. I pray. No, it's a battle. So if our prayers was heard the first time that I prayed, then why stop praying? It tells us there's a spiritual battle, Mr. Charles, did you hear me? That's a spiritual battle. So Daniel is letting us know about the insight of prayer. Whatever you're praying for, you got to continue to pray. There's a battle. And he tells us, right, that's powerful right here, when he says in verse 12 again, then said he unto me, fear not, Daniel, from the first day. From the first day. What first day? This day in chapter 8, when he said that Daniel was ready, and then he went to seek God. This is what he's trying to tell us, that when Daniel began to seek him, but he's trying to tell us that the reason that the 21 days is not because y'all didn't answer your prayer the very first day. We have to understand there's a battle goes on deeper than you and I understand. It really does. It really does. So we see here that this is the half prayer, okay? So when we talk about the Daniel prayer, they're getting it mixed up with chapter 1, verse 12. Do y'all see that? Or am I off a little bit? Huh? Okay, come now. Don't let me hang out there. I'm just saying that when you give people the 21 prayer, I done saw people, and I'm going on the Daniel 21-day fast. There's a battle. If you're going to go on the 21-day fast, you talking about into a battle zone. That's what I'm talking about. Teach the people why the prayer was 21 days later. But understand that Daniel saw the transgression of his people, and he began to seek Yah. And notice that if you want to make the demon mad, start praying for other people, like we're gonna do. Think about that. Start praying for other people. Yeshua did that. He prayed for other people. Father, I don't pray that you take them out of the world, but that you keep them from the wicked one. Peter, I pray for you. Satan has asked to sip you, but after you have returned, I'm praying for you. I know you're going to go through something, Peter, but I'm praying for you. Huh? Do you understand? I know you're going through something, white, but I'm going to pray for you. And that's what listen, that just happened Thursday. Y'all have to understand that when the Most High dropped his hit, did not he say that in Deuteronomy chapter 32 that his teaching dropped like rain? Huh? Y'all want y'all to flood in your life. You can't. What you gonna do with that drop? The man in hell said, "I don't need a gallon of water. Just give me just a just a drop." Some of you might be just at a drop. Just keep you alive. So we see this here. The third one. This is what is called the full fast. Matter of fact, one verse that stands out to me, this is powerful here. Turn to Acts for a moment, Acts chapter 13. And we'll pick up in verse 1, Marcel, verse 1, Acts chapter 13, verse 1. Now, it's a sidebar. As Karen said, I'm taking a little rabbit chair for a minute. No, rabbit. No, we ain't doing rabbit. That's CERN. Y'all stop saying that. That's CERN. Verse 1, chapter 13, verse 1.
Acts chapter 13, verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, called Niger, and Lucius of Cyrene, and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul, as they ministered to Jehovah and fasted.
Notice that, as they minister to who?
Jehovah.
Now to the congregation. Notice what's going to happen as we begin to do this here. We're ministering and fasting unto him, not into us. Go ahead.
The Holy Ghost, the Ruach, said, "Separate me, Barnabas and Saul, for the work whereunto I have called them."
Notice when it happened. When the church got together and they were just fasting and praying because we're chasing ourselves. And the Ruach, boom, moved in and spoke to them and said, "Oh, okay." That's how I know that something is going to happen if we take this serious. All y'all, the father said, "Oh, my children are serious about ministry now. They're serious about ministry." Watch what it says in Acts chapter 9. Acts chapter 9. This is that Paul conversion. Watch what Paul did in Acts chapter 9. Verse 9. So after Paul was converted, verse 9 says what?
Acts chapter 9, verse 9. And he was 3 days without sight, neither did eat nor drink.
Notice that. Full fast. So Paul, but he only did it for 3 days. You see? Paul was blind for 3 days. He didn't eat. So you can do that. Didn't eat or drink. Why? Because he had just had a miraculous conversion with the Messiah. Who think about eating? Come on. Watch this here. Let's go to Esther. See, you don't really fast when things going good in your life. There's no need. But when things start going right and start shaking in your life, and this would happen in the days of Esther, when there was a decree that went out to wipe us out, ain't nobody got to beg you to fast. Esther said, listen, we got a stamp, death sentence on our head. We got to do something about this here. So what did Esther tell them to do in verse 15? 4.
Esther chapter 4, verse 15. Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer: "Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast for me, neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. And I also, my maidens, will fast likewise. And so will I go unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish."
Serious bit. See, we make fast and prayer just some kind of thing that a ritual, just a religion ritual that you do. No, it's personal. It's personal. And if we're serious about why are we going to fast? Because we want God to touch somebody's heart and Pesach. As we prepare, then He prepare our hearts too. That we don't know who we're going to sit by. We don't know who the Ruach been working on. We don't know what song that's going to touch somebody. We don't know the atmosphere. So we're going to ask God to set the atmosphere. So we have to be right. We have to make sure that we're coming clean, that our mind is focused. We've been fasting, denying ourselves of these things. Why? Because the soul is precious. That's serious business there. We have to begin to take on the ministry of Yeshua. That's what we're here for. Before He started His ministry, for us, He fasted 40 days and 40 nights, getting right. He's getting right. And so we need to get in the habit of doing that. And if the Ruach is moving us down, I mean, He's the wind. Set your sail and let us blow it. We don't have to make anything up. I ain't saw nothing on TV. I ain't watched nothing. I mean, it is what it is. We want the Ruach Kodesh to lead us and guide us. We're not trying to mimic anybody. Because in the natural world, I mean, you get in trouble for copying, right? There's copyrights, right? So I wonder what kind of copyright that y'all has. Trying to put on somebody else's anointing. We already saw what happened to the sons of Sceva, huh? Trying to walk in somebody else's anointing.
Right?
Let's look at this verse here for a moment as a little sidebar. Let's go to Matthew. Matthew chapter 9. Watch this question that they asked Yeshua disciples. Verse 14, Matthew chapter 9, verse 14, Marcel.
Matthew chapter 9, verse 14. Then came to him the disciples of John, saying, Why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but your disciples fast not?
Now, hold up. Now, how do they know they don't do that? I mean, how, I don't know what y'all do. How can they make that statement? Like, why y'all don't fast? Oh, okay, I know why. Because y'all pronounce y'all fast. That's why Yeshua said, don't be like the hypocrites. They love to let people know that they're fasting. Oh, yes, they do. So they want to know, why don't your disciples fast? I'm going to show you this here. Go to Luke chapter 18. See, there's some people that love, boy, I'm telling you, boy, y'all know what I'm talking about. There are some religious folks that love to say, man, listen, I bragging on their fasting. Watch what this hypocrite said. See, this is how religious folks act. Chapter 18, verse 9. Listen to this here.
Luke chapter 18, verse 9. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous.
I want you to hear that question. Read that again. That they trust in themselves, not trust in Yah. They trust in themselves. Go ahead.
And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others.
Do you hear that? This is church folks. We just saw the others like, why y'all don't fast? Why y'all don't do this here? Why y'all don't do this here? Why y'all ain't got a food bank? Why I gotta walk in your shoes? Listen, we're not gonna imitate nobody. Listen, the kingdom business don't do stuff like that. Every church has their own personal DNA that we must do what the Ruach lead us. Now, we can learn from each other, but we're not trying to copy each other like that. Go ahead, Marcel.
Verse 10. 2 men went up into the temple to pray, the one a Pharisee, the other a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus unto himself,
Listen what he says. Go ahead.
Jehovah, I think that I am not as other men, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. I fast twice in the week.
He do what?
I fast twice in the
He
week.
boasting. Go ahead.
I give tithes of all that I possess. And the publican, standing afar off, would not lift up so much his eyes into heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, Jehovah, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to this house justified rather than the other. For everyone that exalts himself shall be abased, but he that humbles himself shall be exalted.
Do y'all understand? So if Lil Ron gonna only make a half a day and his brother do 2 days, his brother ain't no more righteous than him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care if you can do 25 days and this, I mean, it's not about how many days. Nobody can brag on how many days they can do. What you got over there? Yeah. Huh? Well, that's what we're reading. He boasted. He trusted in himself. What the other verse said again? What verse we started at? 9. What that verse says? Huh? Read that for me. Huh?
And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others.
See, that's different. He despised you. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Because okay, y'all brothers, right? Okay. But he been watching you. And so he's walking in pride. He's walking in pride. So there's two people here. We can put two brothers here. There's two brothers decide to fast. Okay? And now he's bragging on his 2 days, and you only did a half a day. He's boasting as he writes it, but you didn't even say nothing. So he's saying that his fasting was into himself. You fasted to God. He heard you. You see, he just lost his fast because his reward, because he's boasting, he's bragging. And that's what he's trying to tell us, that we should be doing that. We should not be doing that, even as a congregation, as another church. So we ain't bragging, hey, the house of study fasting for 21 days. We ain't publishing nothing. Now, somebody listening, we ain't boasting on that. Our fast is into the Most High. We come here dressed up, wash ourselves, clean up, and that's what it do. That's what it do. Now, the same Holy Spirit, the rock that's in me, you ask him. I'm not telling you nothing. I'm just explaining to you a full fast is without water and food. Now, you can go few days without water, but you go 40 days, has been proven by doctors, but I didn't need a doctor to tell me. I saw it in the scripture. So even the doctors just found out what the Bible. See, man just kind of finally catching up with the Bible. So now that's between you and Yah. And then again, if you taking medication, okay, let's be wise on this. If you taking medication, there's certain medication that you got to take at a certain time. I'm going on record, YouTube, Facebook. If you taking medicine, you got to take it at a certain time. Take your medicine, and you got to eat something. Please eat something. Okay? Please eat something. Be wise. Be wise. Be wise. If you can only do it a one meal, whatever, just be wise, because there's certain medication will make you sick as a dog. Your friend said, then you be blaming the house of study. The devil is a liar. So we see that when we fast, that we're not to fast unto man, we're not to boast on these things here, right? We saw that number one, we talk about the regular fast without water, 40 days, without food, 40 days, that's supernatural. we saw the half fast with the vegetable and water. Then the full fast, we saw Paul with 3 days, right? Esther fast, necessary fast. Okay. Now let's deal with the last one. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. This is going to be for, I can say for marriage folks on this here, but we also can keep it with the commandments that we still is no adultery and fornication. So we can say that a single person is to fast from sexual activity until their marriage. Now, if you've been fasting for 20 years, you've been fasting for 20 years. God can't sustain you. So now this is fast is with married couples. Now, listen how the Bible handle these issues, okay? Watch how the Bible handle this issue. This is the sexual fast for a spiritual reason, okay? Now, let's start at verse 1, Marcel. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1.
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1. Now concerning the things whereof we wrote unto you, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband.
Okay, kids, to understand that, you don't want to light that fire. Because that thing don't want to go out. You don't want to light that fire. Don't light the fire. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife had not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband had no power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and praying, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your inconsistency.
Now you see that, right? So now there's a time. Now this here, what Paul is talking about, this had to come on agreement. Okay, it had to become agreement. Case in point, that husband and wife can decide that we're going to decide for a few days that we're not going to be intercourse. Now I can't make the decision by myself, and she cannot make the decision by herself. That's what Paul's saying. At least Satan comes in and tempt you. So when a husband and wife decide to go on a sexual fast, okay, there has to be an agreement. It has to be an agreement. You just can't say, well, the Lord said to me. No, he ain't going to divide your marriage like that. Not going to divide your marriage like that. The husband have right to the wife body and vice versa. And so we're not to use sexual things in the body defrauding one another, playing around with our bodies to hold each other. No. I said, no, don't do that. Don't do that. He said that verse 2, that the husband run into the wife do beloved. Okay. In other words, what she's craving, she has a desire. Then I can't say, well, babe, I'm fasting. And she's up here. Huh? Y'all don't know, huh? But she's up here. Okay? She's up here. Okay, wow. Mom, she done let me go then. Okay. There's a time that we all have heat flashes, okay? Okay? And so we cannot deprive each other of that. Oh, I mean, how many marriages have been shipwrecked because of that? Especially when you get it most happen from the female perspective when she's a preacher or she's anointed. And she's on the road, and this man at the house with the kids being deprived, and she's hanging out with the big dogs. It happens. Why you think, marriages in the Christian world, especially when females are big time preachers, and you can't tell them, how did they get a divorce? Because she's on the road all the time. And then when she come home, you tap her on the shoulder. She's what? Tired.
Tired.
She tired. Like that old song said, what Ray Parker said, a woman need love. Huh? 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 Come home early from work. Open up that door and get your feelings hurt. Huh? Yeah. They understand that?
They
Hey, old
got
school.
it, they got it,
You never heard that? Well, we ain't gonna go no further with that.
they got it.
That's an old school back 1980 something like that. Oh, y'all ain't even born, huh? But so let's make it clear on this here. So as we talked about the number one, it's a 40-day fast with no water, no food and no water, supernatural. Okay. But we saw with the Apostle Paul that we can go. He went 3 days and 3 nights without water. So we know that you shouldn't go without water no longer than how many days? Huh? Water. 7 days. 7 days. Okay. So we know that, guys. It's just set up like that. Now, but it's the proven fact that we can go without food how many days? So even though our bodies be saying that we're dying, am I right, Mike? You feeling just like you're dying. Mike, based on your fasting, the camera over here, my man over here. So, camera over here. So, just to help the young folks and help us out, what day by time that, how many days it take for you just to stop thinking about food?
It's about 3.
Yeah.
First 2 are the hardest, the third day is when you break through the wall. Gotta be for the right reasons. He will shut you out. Pay for the right reasons.
So that's it on that, guys. You know, I just wanted just to give us some things that as we begin to fast on the first day of the week, right? Tomorrow. Now you decide, okay? In our day today, young people, it can be that you put down those little games y'all be playing. Watch how you have a withdrawal. Huh? Like a dope fiend. You're gonna be feeding. But I'm saying you can participate in this too. Fasting ain't just for, because I can show you a verse. Okay, I'm gonna show this because they don't believe me. Let's go to Joel. See, y'all think of fasting is for old folks that ain't got nothing to do. Y'all need to fast. All that sin in y'all lives. Okay. Chapter 2, Joel chapter 2. Go ahead. Start at verse 1. It's okay with that. It happens.
Joel chapter 2, verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Jehovah comes, for it is nigh at hand.
Hold up. And jump to verse 12.
Therefore also now, says Jehovah, turn ye even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning.
Go ahead.
And rend your heart, and not your garments, and turn unto Jehovah your God, for he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and great of kindness, and repent him of the evil. Who knows if he will return and repent, and leave a blessing behind him, even a meat offering and a drink offering unto Jehovah. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders.
Watch this here. Similar to who? The elders.
Gather the children.
Gather the children. Yeah. That's y'all. Gather the children. Go ahead.
And those that suck the breast.
Oh, even the babies too. Let them cry. Don't give them no milk. Let them go on a fast. A few hours. You know what I'm saying? Let them go on a fast. Go ahead.
Let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber, and the bride out of her closet.
So you see that, right? Everybody is included. Now, if y'all don't remember the story when Jonah went to Nineveh, And when they received the message and the king believed it, the king put the dogs on fast. He put on, everybody went on a fast. Everybody went on fast. Can you imagine that? Everybody went on fast. That showed that the king was serious about this help. He believed the report. So if we believe, if we believe that Yah is waiting on a people that would take ministry serious and salvation serious of people, a soul serious and not just accumulate our knowledge, then we say we, declare the congregation that we're going to deny ourselves, afflict ourselves, so that on your Moedim, your feast, that you will touch somebody, that you will open their eyes. You see, that's the purpose there, because I ain't just fasting for fasting's sake. I'm not just going to be giving up food to be giving up food. Why do that? Why do that? Why afflict yourself for no reason? What woman want to go through a pregnancy, but she ain't really got a baby in her, but she just want to feel the pain? I ain't really got a baby, but I just got a machine just make me feel like I'm pregnant. Who want to go do that? Yeah. So we're not going to just fast and hope things going to happen. Because we want him. We want him to be lifted up. And so in our fasting these days, we're going to pray for Yah's strength, to give us strength. Because we want it to be done by the Spirit. Because the flesh gonna start crying. Oh, he's gonna start crying. He's gonna start crying. So you need a purpose. If you start and then you mess up, just start over. Just start over. Don't say, I messed up now. No, just start over. You got 21 days to get it right. Just start over. So don't be choosing something that I don't watch TV hardly anyhow, so why am I going to choose TV? Huh? I don't watch movies. I don't play games. So don't play games with yourself, kids. Don't choose something that you like, I don't eat this anyhow, so I'm going to give it up. That's not a fast. Don't choose something. Choose something that really going to, you know what I'm saying, that's going to be serious. Or it makes no sense. Your fast, he say, don't rent your clothes, rent your heart. So I'm pondering minds. How serious do I really care about souls, people's life being changed? Really though? You willing to give up this? There's benefits in it. Father, we just thank you right now. We bless you. We thank you. We're not trying to be as the man just saying, I thank you that I'm not like this sin. I'm not like this person, that person. I'm not like the Muslim. I'm not like the Christian. I'm not like the Baptist, all that stuff. No. We wants to go on a congregation fast. Not for our own self, but for the kingdom's sake. That your will be done in this congregation. We're praying that as we're preparing everything in the natural for the Passover, that we are being prepared, that we will rent our heart and not our clothes, that we will lay aside things that we desire, things that we like for the sole purpose that you may touch someone, that we as a priest, that we would set aside ourselves to intercede for our families, our brothers and sisters of this congregation. So I pray, Holy Spirit, that you can speak to each person's heart and that you can tell them what you want them to do. And I pray that each one, from the young person to the elder, that we will have ears to hear. And I pray that those that take medication, those who are in the house and those who are watching, that they will be wise and that you will lead them and guide them what they need to do. We thank you for even putting this in our spirit to even do this. We want to glorify you, not the house of study.